Coming up today here on the Raiders Report, 5 players were drafted to the UFL. I'll tell you who they are, where they got drafted, and why it's important for the nation. We're also going to be breaking down some rookie training camp news. We are so close. We almost made it. Rookie training camp begins on July 21st. And then I'm going to be breaking down my top 10 rookies to watch for rookies that you should get some information on. I do want to say, though, today's show is presented by Panda Sups. I'm a big fan of Panda, and they literally just told me that all of their protein has just been restocked. So I know a lot of people have been asking me, Mitch, what about the strawberries and cream? What about the cookies and cream? The mint chocolate chip, my personal favorite. You can get it, and we're hooking you guys up with a discount here. Use code Raiders at pandasups.com for 25% off. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. If you want to know what protein I use, it's from Panda, and I guarantee you it's the best tasting protein that you have ever had. So I know a lot of people out there probably just heard me say, wait a minute, the Raiders had 5 players drafted to the UFL. What exactly does that mean? Don't worry, I did the exact same thing. Here's what it means here. In order to be a draft-eligible prospect in the UFL college draft, players must have been eligible and gone unselected in the 2024 NFL draft. So all these players are UDFAs. Players selected Wednesday were also at least 3 years out of high school or waived their college eligibility. UFL teams will hold the rights to players they select until they either report to the team or team gives up the player's rights. All draftees who sign a UFL contract will have an NFL out clause during the NFL season. So essentially what that means is all these players that I'm about to break down now, if they don't make the 53-man roster for the Raiders, and if they don't make the practice squad for the Raiders, then they have that opportunity to say, you know what, Amari Gainer drafted in round 5 by the Renegades, I have the opportunity to go play for them. What's going to happen is, obviously Amari Gainer's like, if I make it to the 53, I'm going to stay with the Raiders. If they make it to the practice squad, obviously you're going to stay with the practice squad because you're going to make more money. It's just another opportunity. What I want people to look at, though, is, we look at players a certain way, right? Raider fans, Raider Nation, we fall in love with certain guys in different ways. What I want you to look at is the way that other people, other teams, the UFL looks at these guys, because to me, the higher you're drafted, the higher that somebody evaluates your talent. So Gainer is the only player that was drafted in round 5 or above. From what I understand, there was 10 rounds in this draft, and there's like 8 or 10 picks per round. There's not a lot of picks here. So for Gainer to go in round 5, this was one of the players that I was a little bit, more excited about this upcoming offseason. Another player that ended up getting drafted in round 6 was Tulu Griffin. And Tulu's been a dude that we have talked about a bunch on the show as just being like, if the Raiders don't want to keep a DJ Turner, if they don't want to keep a Jalen Guyton, and they want to roll with somebody who's a little bit younger at like a UDFA, you go with Tulu Griffin, you can potentially look at him. Definitely somebody to watch at Raiders rookie training camp. Let's go to Andrew Coker here, who, from TCU, a little bit of a bigger guy, got drafted by the Stallions in round 7. I don't see him making this 53. I don't think he really has a shot. But in terms of being at least a little bit on the practice squad, you can see he's a big guy. If Carmen Brasilla was still the offensive line coach, this one would be interesting. I think in order for Andrew to end up making this roster, Dalton Wagner has to make the 53-man, because if you're choosing between both these guys during the practice squad, Wagner's going to get that bid. Jaquan Shepard, who's intriguingly enough the player that the Raiders paid the most money this offseason to in terms of UDFAs. So the highest contract that the Silver and Black Telesco AP gave out was to Shepard. It was $230,000, which is a pretty hefty paycheck, I think, for somebody who is a UDFA. It's also the most money. Money talks, so that kind of shows you there. But for the Raiders, round 8, drafted by the Showboats. Another name that to at least keep in mind, I think they were actually back-to-back picks, was Rashad Williams, who's coming out of Texas Tech here, also taken in round 8 by the Roughnecks. And this has been somebody that has gotten actually a lot of attention, more attention so because I want to say he only got $10,000 as like the money that he'll get for being a UDFA. Compared to Shepard, who got $230, that's a really, really big difference. But Williams was somebody that did impress her in rookie minicamp, also was somebody that impressed her in OTAs because of his physicality. So I almost wonder if some of that transpired for him to get drafted here by the Roughnecks. Now, if you guys didn't even know that Raiders players got drafted to the UFL, that's why I want you to subscribe. Yes, it's July. Yes, there's a lot of nothing going on, and training camp's right around the corner. But, like, the reason why people watch the Raiders Report to me is we don't take days off here. We provide you with news. We provide you with rumors. We give you guys the hot takes, but we are a channel built on the backs of the nation that's down to have a good time. And hopefully you guys are watching our live show on Thursday where Chugs is taking down people on college football. And if you beat them, I'll give you $100. Coming up next here, Raiders training camp news. And I got some players to watch. And these are the players that I know that not everybody can go to training camp. I totally get that. But also, like, these are the dudes where I'm going to be looking up info. These are the players that I'm going to try to provide the nation with a little bit more information on. If you don't know, the rookies, they report this Sunday, July 21st. Veterans, they're going to report on the 23rd. I expect about 30-ish players to be at rookie minicamp. And the reason why that, or to be at rookie training camp, the reason why that I say that is simply because you got 17 UDFAs. It's kind of where the Raiders are at, right? Then on top of that, you have the 9 players that you have selected. That's 25. On top of that, I wouldn't be surprised if Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, all the quarterbacks show up because sometimes you see the QBs end up showing up. But then I also think that there's going to be these players. And these were year 2 guys at rookie minicamp where David Agoa, the International Pathway Program player, was there. Jaden Grant, Tyreek McAllister, Jalen McKenzie, John Samuel Schnecker, Charles Snowden. These are all year 2 dudes that ended up going to rookie minicamp in May where they didn't have to. And I would forecast that they're going to do the exact same thing because, they're trying to make a roster. Another player that I could see being there early is Alec Bachman. He wasn't there during rookie minicamp in May because he was signed after the fact. But because he's Alec Bachman, a wide receiver wearing, I want to say 33, he also is more than likely going to show up on the 21st because he's trying to earn a spot here on the Raiders. So let me know down below, before I break down from 10 all the way down to 1, which rookie are you just like most excited to see at training camp? Or is it Brock Bowers? Is it Dylan Laube? Is it somebody like, I don't know, Jackson Powers-Johnson? Maybe it's Carter Bradley. Maybe it's another UDFA. I want to know down below which rookie you're most excited to see at training camp. So here we go. We're going to go from 10, and we're going to work our way down to 1. Coming in here at number 10 is Amari Gainer, and I say that because he was selected the highest out of all the players for the UFL Draft. So Gainer knows that he's definitely going to have another opportunity elsewhere. But because he's a linebacker edge hybrid, I also think that he's going to be able to provide some good special teams value for us. Could he sneak onto this roster and help out at defensive end potentially, but most importantly, help out at linebacker, most importantly, help out on special teams in case we don't love our depth behind Janarius Robinson. Let's go to number 9. I'm going to go with rookie MJ Devonshire, 7th rounder out of Pitt, really good athlete. And I've been following him on IG. He's been posting some really cool stuff. So Devonshire, if you watch this, bro, I'm really pulling for him. I'm a Pennsylvania guy myself. So, I've had a lot of friends reach out to me about him. Good athlete, but this is a cornerback competition that I'm going to be looking at. And I've seen a lot of other people out there, that have said that they think that he might not even make the team. I believe in him. I think the Raiders end up keeping all their rookies at the end of the draft. And coming in here at number 8, it's Trey Taylor. Safety position is just packed with talent. It's packed with competition. You got Isaiah Palameo. You got Chris Smith. Taylor, to me, is going to make this squad. But if Taylor is significantly worse than somebody like Chris Smith or like Isaiah Palameo, I think we got to, reconsider. Another player to keep in mind is Jaden Grant, who Trey Taylor himself even said, hey, this guy's been really impressing. At number 7 here in terms of the rookies that I'm going to watch, Carter Bradley. The backup quarterback position is absolutely one to monitor. We're going to talk about Aiden O'Connell. We're going to talk about Gardner Minshew. Shit, we do it all the time. But that quarterback 3 battle between Bradley and between Anthony Brown, on top of that, the Raiders don't have to keep a 3rd quarterback. If you want to keep that extra depth guy on defense and on offense and roll with Aiden, roll with Gardner, keep one of those dudes on your practice squad because then you can activate them on game day. Just something to keep in mind. At number 6 here, I'm going to go Delmar DJ Glaze. And drafted in round 3. I think the Raiders selected him a little bit higher, just the way that the draft went. For all y'all that remember, it was like offensive line, flying off the board left and right, left and right. Glaze to me was somebody that probably should have went in the 5th round, but he also gives you some of that flexibility in terms of where he can play. He can play guard, he can play tackle, and I want to see where the Raiders end up lining him up because if they line him up on the right side and right side only, that's going to be telling to me. But if they only line him up at tackle, only line up at guard, that's something that you absolutely have to consider as well. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today, Panda Sups, and I'll get into our top 5 players that I'm going to be looking at during Raiders training camp. But I expect players to be ready to go when they go to training camp. Because to me, you had your time off. You need to be in the best shape. And I'm also trying to get into good shape as well. I got my bachelor party coming up next week, and to be honest, I was talking to my fiance Alex about this the other day. I was like, I don't know the last time I was this excited about a trip. I was this excited to be able to hang out with my guys and do nothing besides eat, drink some good drinks, and have a good time. But I'm trying to slim up a little bit. And Panda also has my favorite protein. The one that I've been really hooked on right now is the strawberry. My favorite one during the summertime is this right here. And not a sponsor, but Ninja Creamy. If you got one, if you put Panda Subs protein in a Ninja Creamy, it's actually going to blow your mind. 25% off at pandasubs.com. Use code Raiders to save on all their protein products. I'm going to put the link for you guys down in the comments and down in the description. And recently, I've been asked, like, Mitch, what are your favorite protein flavors? Here you go. This is my God-honest opinion, and I'm basing this off of right now. So, I'm a big, seasonal person. So, the mint chocolate chip, it's really refreshing in the summer. The strawberries and cream, it's great in the summer. I also love me some cookies and cream. You got a little bit of that fruity cereal. It tastes like the bottom. It's like the milk on a Fruity Pebbles. You get chocolate ice cream. The pineapple whip is amazing. The cinnamon toast crunch vanilla ice cream. I do want to make this very clear. None of their protein is bad. I would rate every single one 7 or higher out of 10. But it's just my personal opinion. I think people that watch the show, especially in July, kind of know what I like. And next week, I'm going to ask Jeremy. Jeremy, I want you to put your top 8 proteins together because for the real ones out there that watch this show, I think you know what I like, you know what I don't like. And if you want to get some awesome protein, pandasubs.com, code Raiders, 25% off. Let's go to number 5 here. It's going to be Tommy Eichenberg. And when the Raiders drafted him out of Ohio State, I was super pumped up because to me, I was like, one of the notes that Tom had, who I think is the best in the biz for NFL draft notes, and said, kind of reminds me a little bit of Robert Spillane, where he's a unbelievable football player in the sense of he might not have all the athletic tools that a lot of these guys look at, but guys always around the football. And I want guys that are around the football. I want dudes that love football. Kind of reminds me a little bit of AP. At number 4, it's the Camryn Richardson. And this is more just solely to do with we drafted a corner in round 4. It was the first corner that we drafted in a year that we thought that they could select a corner at pick number 13. And because of that, he's going to be battling with a Brandon Facyson, with the Jacorian Bennett. I hope that we see reports out there that Richardson's battling for that number 1 spot because that other corner spot next to Nate Hobbs, next to Jack Jones, I would say is the position that I'm the most concerned about on the defensive side of the football. I expect the Raiders defense to be great. Antonio Pierce, Patrick Graham, they proved to you last season that they legit can have the number 1 defense in football. But if the Camryn Richardson can't make an impact on defense right away in year 1, based off of some of the things that Tom McMahon said during his press conferences this offseason, you could see Richardson, you could see Devonshire, some of these other athletic corners, maybe even an Armstrong, make this roster to help out on special teams. Coming in here at number 3, it's Jackson Powers-Johnson. And JPJ, man, he just fires me up. The way that I want Raiders players to act is the way that JPJ has done this offseason. Bro's going on vacation. He's rocking Raiders t-shirts. He's rocking a Raiders hat. He's hanging out with his significant other, rocking Raiders stuff. To me, this guy is a Raider, and he's a physical offensive lineman. He's going to go out there and he's going to beat some people up. But the main reason why I'm going to be watching him is the injuries. Got banged up a little bit this offseason. Has had some injury concerns. I want him to be healthy. I want him to be physical, and I want him to go out there and do his thing because to me, if the Raiders want to take that next step, you need young rookies that are acting the way like Jackson Powers-Johnson does and saying stuff like, hey, if you want to be blessed with the name on your back, in my case, on the front, right? You got to play for the team that's on your front, the Raiders. And Powers-Johnson's going to play for that team, and he's going to hope that it blesses on the back. Shit, I hope the exact same thing. At number 2, I'm going to go Dylan Laube, man. Laube fires me up. He really, truly does. Here in the interview that he had with Graff, absolutely loved it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Just seeing all the hype around this young man, he's going to be a big, big part of special teams, but can he work into the passing game? Can he work into the receiving game? How exactly are they using him? What does his battle look like with Zamir White? What does it look like with Amir Abdullah? What does it look like with a guy like Alexander Madison? Laube's definitely a guy to watch. And then coming in here at number 1, it's the player that I believe is going to make the biggest impact this season as a rookie, and shouldn't really surprise anybody. It's Brock Bowers. If Brock Bowers didn't look like somebody that could do your taxes, I think people would be a lot more fired up about it because he was arguably the best player in the SEC for 3 straight years. He's arguably one of the best players on Georgia. He was on a college football team that was dominating college football the past 3 years. I get it, they didn't win last season, but if you were to ask most college football fans who was the best team the past 3 seasons, I think a lot of people would say Georgia, and Bowers was arguably one of the best players on that team. He's going to be able to do a lot for us. I can't wait to see how they line him up, the 12 personnel especially, and Bowers going to surprise a lot of people, man. Before I wrap up today's show, I am super stoked because for the first time this year, I'm able to tell you all how you can hang out with Jeremy Chuggs and I during the offseason. And if anybody wants to get an opportunity to come to a Topgolf event, we're going to be doing a Topgolf event for week 1 against the Chargers. Now, if you want to enter that, it's chatsports.com/Topgolf. And Chuggs and I are going to be doing a watch party week 1 in North Carolina. So if anybody's in the Durham, North Carolina area, if anybody goes to this link down below, chatsports.com/Topgolf, you could enter in for a chance to win, and we're going to give away 20 tickets. It's going to be a really cool experience. It's going to be a meet and greet. You get to play golf with Chuggs and I, which I'm horrible at golf. There's going to be lots of other games that are going to be included. You're going to get to meet some Raiders super fans. On top of that, food, drinks are all going to be included. You get your tickets right now. And then we're doing a week 1 watch party in North Carolina. Jeremy Chuggs and I, it's free to attend. Chatsports.com/week1 is how you can get your tickets. They are limited. So if we get the first 100, 200 people there, you're going to be locked in. Besides that, though, I'm worried that if you wait too long, you're not going to get your opportunity. They're free. Get them right now. Chatsports.com/week1. There are also going to be some halftime prizes, which, from what I've been told, they've given away Bo Jackson signed helmets. Lester Hayes signed stuff. They've given away signed autographs from Josh Jacobs. And if you show up, it's free to attend. They're going to have food deals. They're going to have drink deals. You're going to be able to hang out with Jeremy and I for a week 1 watch party against the Chargers. And you're going to have an opportunity to win some signed Raiders jerseys they've done in the past. I don't know exactly what gifts they're giving out. But the bottom line is I've been asked a lot, mainly by Rebel. Are we going to do something this year? This, to me, is the one thing that I'm super passionate about. So if you live on the East Coast, even if you live on the West Coast, if you appreciate what we do, if you show up to this event, this tells other people out there that we can do more events like this. Because my goal, I don't know if it's this year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, is to be able to do events like this in cities all over the U.S., to hang out with the nation during our watch party. So it's chatsports.com/week1. Claim your tickets right now. Also, my mom and dad, I think they're going to be there. Here are the top rookies to watch, though, during training camp. Again, if you want to take a screenshot of this, post it on Twitter, post it on Instagram. It would be much appreciated. Just, make sure you tag Chuggs and I. Seriously, I can't wait for training camp. I feel like we've made it through just a shit show of an offseason in all the right ways, where a little bit of a slow downtime, but now we're getting ready to get into training camp, the preseason, when it actually matters. And I just want all the people out there that know that have watched the show July, June, and May when nothing's going on. I greatly appreciate it, but we're getting close, and this show is about to pop off. So please make sure you're subscribed.